Hello, good morning, my lovers. How are you? It's MJ from All to Love. I'm here with you, Avi. I'm going live, and I'm gonna pull some cards for you guys for today, which is November 27th, 2019. Time in essence is irrelevant because there's only now. Yeah. So if you're new to the channel, I also do energy updates, collective intuitions, general noodling within the intuish. I've been intuitively guided and I'm an author. I wrote a book. Hey Kara, lovely to see you, sister. It's early in the morning. I've been waking up pretty much like in the middle of the night hours for a few years now. I feel this is, I think, part of the the restructuring of the daily routines, as it were. We're living in monumental changey times. So insight that was coming through was about like game changing, and it was this little insight about the next wave of awakening, and like people very suddenly just being like, Jessica, I woke up thinking about you, chica. Because I'm off of all the other socials. You and I were a friend on, where were we chatting? Snapchat. And I've now deleted all of the apps, so I only have my work, my legit work, basically. No more social medias. Which this is it, you guys. Sorry, I'm puffing with my hair. But YouTube, I'm committed to, and that is all. And then we have Skype sessions for those of you who do the online coaching or in-depth readings. Okay. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, because maybe that's why you came through, because I'm like, what if Jess messages me on Snapchat and then I just never ever respond, and you're like, hi. And I'm like, hi, I just haven't responded to anybody. So anyone on Instagram or Facebook, FYI, MJ from All to Love is having a break from all of that. And I don't know if I'll ever go back. What would happen? Nothing. Okay. Ooh, baby, yeah. Wheel of Fortune. I did send you something, but I kind of figured that, good. I know, you're smart. Like, you're in tune with infinite intelligence, so you shall know. Yeah, it's not out of blatant rudeness, is it? What up, tree hugger? Patricia! My internet besties here with me in the mornings. Ooh, we have a moon and a sun. So yeah, collective intuition. I'm just getting this download around game changing. And those of us, this weird paradox, those of us who have maybe felt alien, depressed, too feely, too sensitive for most of our lives, a little bit like aliens looking in at the rest of humanity, the game has changed, and now it's like this quite almost sudden in our awareness reversal of like the people who were fitting into the game suddenly going, oh my god, the game has changed. Like, and we're all the love brigade going like, yeah guys, it's been changing for a long time. And they're like, fuck. And we're like, don't worry, we got your back. Hey John Beatty, what up my friend? Yes, from Canada. Are you? I just spat everywhere. Are you in Vancouver? Are you? Vancouver. I lived in Vancouver. I found it funny that the West Coasters would be like, hey, we live in Vancouver. I'm like, it's Vancouver, you guys. Because I'm from Ontario. Little thing, like, you guys in the UK don't give it us, because like every 5 miles there's like a different accent or dialect in the UK. But in Canada and America, we don't have very many dialects. So even like the slightest difference, let's be honest, if you drive 2 or 3 days, you're in a different, vortex of creation. So yeah, people on the West Coast, they talk like a little bit more like this. And then and then me, and then East Coasters. John, I listened to your music while doing yoga earlier. What? Yeah. We thrive now. The normies get to follow us to find out where source went. Yeah. So that's pretty much the feels, the intuition noodling within. It's like the game changed, and we have been doing it all from within, i.e. this insight paradigm shift, new paradigm, like actually behaving from the heart space, in integrity, in authenticity, in alignment. And it's this very bizarro feeling, because it's like, yeah, but then I forget, I'm like, there's still this, the whole other collective preparing and awakening, doors of consciousness and perception opening. And like in the human vessel, from the perception of limitation, it's a wild effing ride that blows your mind, continuous. And then eventually you just get used to it, hence game changed. It's like, yeah, and what is life? I'm like, shouldn't we be all asking these questions? only to resolve. It's not about mocking one another or like laughing and pointing fingers at people that have closed off minds. It's like being able to joyfully celebrate that humanity is awakening and evolving in a positive direction. So really it's all good, but we all know that sometimes those early awakening, or just generally from day to day, it can be a little bit like but the chaos is moving us to greater clarity, i.e. the game changed. Like, yeah, let's not dick each other over anymore. Let's actually be good people. And they're like, what? Yeah. Let's actually figure out what our feelings are and like try to be good to ourselves first, so we know how to be nice to each other. What is life was the former soul course. We graduated how much we can help each other into bliss. What? Yeah, that resonates actually, for sure. It's like the soul's evolution. It's like the soul's knowing. Part of like that feeling of why it was so painful for empathic souls, or like higher vibrational souls, not in a superior inferior, just an expanded sense, right? To try to squeeze into the old paradigm. You're like, it's burning my soul. And you're like, don't do it. And you're like, okay. And then off we went into this game-changing freedom path, which now is like set in the like vibrashe, like in the invisible realms. The new paradigm is like, now this astrology is basically just ushering it in, and we're like, way, whoa, like, now people are like, what are those shiny happy people doing over there? We're vibrating high in bliss. I'm like, oh my god. It's good morning. Happy Wednesday to all of you. I'm MJ, and I would, at some point in these morning hours, probably pour myself another cup of coffee, just because I can. I'm free. Although next year I definitely want to do like a detox retreat, because I deserve it. Or just go visit one of all y'all in the woodland. Go for a camping expedition in the mountains of the United States. So my lovers, chariot's in the reverse, which just usually I interpret as like a slower, so not like whoa, moving forward, but just like moving forward. So I try to imagine you guys like sitting in your boudoirs, or sitting in your lounges, or like sitting watching TV, and it's empty from all time. But I respect that. Thank you, because I'm like right now, this whole week actually, I've been editing like a MoFlow lover. Like that's when it gets proper work mode. I'm like, dang, like hours and hours of editing, but I love it. And then doing the Unplug for Freedom, I'm like, guys, just don't watch TV, watch other channels. And so I have mad respect for all y'all lovers who join me in Resonant Connection here on the YouTube land, versus watching TV stuff, and so I'm preaching to the choir here, you guys, because I'm pretty sure the most of you guys who resonate with me here don't watch TV. It's not even like it's a waste of time to watch TV. It's like a suckle. It like programs your mind to be a waste of life. Not time, life force. Proclaim your life force, lovers. Like, but it's just TV. I'm like, yeah, and it's programming your mind to be a consumer, to be a deadened consumer zombie. That's not true. Yes, it is. Oh my God. I've got the cards here. Hey, what up, Christian? Is that a zombie face? You know it, my friend. See, you lovers, you know already. I swear to God, most people wouldn't find All to Love TV if they weren't already. Once in a while, I watch a movie. Me too, for sure. And Netflix programs, because there's no advertising. But even the Netflix programs, like, I'm just more aware of the layer of, like, it's all programming. Just regardless of, like, layer or this or that or any rightness or wrongness around it. Like, everything that we're consuming and around and stories around us. Just being mindful that the stories around us can program us into certain feelings about life. Longing. Like, remember yesterday or 2 days ago I told you about, like, watching something called What If? It's on Netflix, and it's with Renee Zellweger. And it stirred up these underlying feelings in me, like, yeah, money is evil, and you can't get ahead unless you intertwine or entangle yourself with corruption and control, domination, and I'm like watching this show, kind of reliving certain entanglements in my own past, being like, fuck. There is that, you know, there's a perpetuation ideation of only, oh, so now I'm hearing another one. Only the good die young, and like good people don't get ahead. Those constructs, I think those are pretty dominant. And then, and I know I've gone over this, but like in the spiritual world, our needs are, yeah. Or in our spiritual construct, we have this whole thing of like spiritual people don't need money, or we don't make money. No, it's all distorted, right? And it's living in a construction of control and domination where people's needs are siphoned, people's needs are like extracted to basically perpetuate the fight flight reactive model in our humanity to keep humans oppressed. That's the ultimate kind of deception of that. You're like, that's not cool, you guys. Hence Game Change, of like empathic humans shining light on that and changing the game, being like, no, we live in a world where we look after one another. Okay, divine feminine, although we want it to be like love and light, divine feminine is like fierce Kali vibrashe, being like, we are going to be kind to one another. And your deceptive tactics are no more. It's because I love my children. Stop killing my children. Stop stealing from my children. It's like that. Divine Mother. Okay, shall I crack on with the reading? I do hope some of my YouTube or Instagram fam find me over here on the YouTube land, because I know that I was kind of giving people the daily tarot, and they're like, I like it. I do like it. And I'm like, well, come to YouTube then, because I'm doing too much. I need to spend time receiving. I need to spend time being in receptive mode. That's my breakthrough of late. Facing down my own fakery and just coming into freedom. Gee whiz, how long does that take? I don't know. A whole year, apparently, and much more. 3, 5 lifetimes of living in these bodies. Me too. Hi, y'all. Hi, Timothy Riley. Hello, Scott. How are all y'all, lovers? This is not like, it's like in my day-to-day, I'm just like a quiet introvert, editing videos or walking for England, or maybe going to a cafe and reading, simplicity. Love it. Go to a park, go to some woods, go to the river. But Not when I'm here with you guys. You guys bring out something special in me. Like, I honestly don't even know what it is. Hence part of why I know this is what I meant to do. Be on purpose, y'all lovers. Something crazy will come out of y'all. Exactly. Giddy fun is bringing oneself back to the youth, back to like the innocence of childhood freedom. I'm like, it's not like it's like, whoa, who have I become? But I'm like, I know you. You're just like innocent MJ, frolicking free in life, like doing what you're meant to do. Imagine that. I know, and it can take years and years of unraveling systematic belief systems intertwined with ancestral program and like your own cosmic DNA codes. Universe calling family. Love you, tree hugger. Have a jolly frolic. Oh yeah, baby, smell the flowers. I was smelling them earlier. Like, I kid you not. I was actually smelling them earlier and being like, like the flowers smell so good. Censor certain channels, and as the truth be your preferred target. I know, I'm noodling with that, Christian. And don't worry, it's me, MJ. And as a brand, Ulta Love, there might still be postings, if you hear me. I just need to step back from them as the like director. I need to kind of let go of doing all of it and kind of accept that I need support and you know, delegate certain tasks. So another human could be posting my content on the other social medias. Is that making sense? Without being too like covertly non-transparent or transparent? Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, because and Christian, dare I say, I think they all do. I think I personally was thinking that with the YouTube, the reason I'm focused here is that there is a hub. There is now a community of my lovers in internet land, vibrashe, of people who do. I can feel the integrity of it, which is why this needs to be my main focus. And it's not that there wasn't integrity in the Instagram and the Facebook, but there's algorithms and weird stuff going on those platforms as well. And I'm still noodling with that as a construct. This is part of the game change, though, Christians, I got to say, is that there's going to be breakthrough it's like someone like Michael Moore getting through into the mainstream. There's going to be waves of outpouring that link people into truth and divinity, beyond the veils of censorship. If you know what I'm talking about. The artists need not the arbitrary media problems. Yeah, it's just creation. So I energetically am honing in on my personal freedom path and focus. And then, but it's not to say that I'm not aware of still continuing to propagate and spread the Ulta Love message. And yet continuing being honest with you guys, I do it in my authenticity and integrity. Basically letting go, letting go and doing what I love instead of trying to chase the beast. Because if there is censorship, if that's happening, well, golly, what happened to freedom of speech, lovers? It's more naughty karma for those people who are doing naughty things, isn't it? Divine Mother. Yes, I want to see Ultra Love TV on Netflix as well, Moflo Lover. That's the future of Ultra Love Publishing. It's like Louise Hay's brand, and with just me and my mom, basically. Ultra Love Publishing, Ultra Love Productions, and we'll all get together. We'll all get together and create like a badass love vibration meditation on the Netflix. I was trying to make Metaflix create meditation creatrix on the Netflix. Ultra Love Flix. There you go. Ultra Love Productions. Well, that's what all the courses are anyway. They're production. It's a production house. Me in my bedroom. Ultra Flex. There it is. We create that. We'll get an amazing creative team together and make a documentary about the hot love of Ultra Love. You guys, stop it. I'm trying to be serious here and make it look like this. It's still happening. Did you see that? There's a tower moment, you guys. That's just today. This is just a reading for today, and we have the Wheel of Fortune, the sun, the moon, and the star. That's pretty symbolic. There's a tower coming down around any imbalance. Oh, by the way, I've gone right into the reading. Right into the reading. What's in the tea? Coffee, my lover. This is coffee. Coffee. I don't really do tea. Except when I'm feeling really like yogic. Hey, Shikiki Libra. That was something. What did you just say, Timothy? Hey, if we can't laugh at ourselves, overgrowth. I'm interpreting that like, yeah, I feel you. Having traveled the far reaches of the planet to find the spiritual gurus, you know, like all the yoga spiritual gurus, so they say, or Goenka, the meditation gurus and the meditation, like these are fine specimens of being, for sure. At the same time, I'm like, they're just humans. They're still humans, like all of us. And you can put it in a temple in India, or put it on a table in England, and you're like, the heart of truth is the heart of truth, and it comes in many expressions. And I too felt that, where I'm like going to ashrams or going to like spiritual centers and seeing a lot of the dogma around spirituality versus the heart of it. I'm like, well, what's spirituality? Connection. Dogma, as far as this is how you have to operate every single day, is still an imbalanced worldview. I'm like, it still misses the point, because I met some of the gurus and they're just like super serious. And I'm like, well, that's surely not the end goal. And if it is, nobody's gonna want that. No, none of my fucked up brothers and sisters in the West who sold their soul to the devil. I jest, but not really. They're not gonna make the shift if the end goal of spirituality is like it's no fun, my lovers. Truth, laughter at self, because what is life? You feel me? Okay. So back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, Nelly. So remember we had the Chariot card? I think this is symbolic for this. Let's encapsulate our energies for today. Chic, Jean, Bini, also created in the YouTube vibrashe of love, like creative world monsters of the heart sorts, of the love vibrashe sorts. So Intuish is really coming through with regard to this reading, my loves. It's we are really moving forward. I know I said that like 5 months ago, but now it's legit. 5 months ago, 2 years ago, this is the final purge. Guess what? It's gonna keep happening. Life is going to continue. But I got to say, the fact that Wheel of Fortune, let's just all be a part of this reading. Let's just say this reading is like for us and whoever the lovers are who come across this video. Share the love if you're having fun. Wheel of Fortune and the sun is quite profound. It is speeding up there, John Beanie. Nice reflection. And straight up legit, my lovers, this could be after a tower moment. We do need this right now. So this Wheel of Fortune ooh, things are finally going up. You're like, please, God, let it be so. Well, it is, because the sun is right beside it. The star card is underneath the sun, and the tower with the Six of Pentacles is basically what's coming down. What's coming down is imbalance. What's coming down is not being open to receive. What up, Lynn? Lover. I try to make songs, but sometimes it just doesn't. It doesn't happen. And then ultimately, some of you are really laying down the swords when it comes to conflict energy, and that feels the crux energy of like the choosing your battles wisely kind of thing. After being so close to the edge to drop the ego, Timothy, I'm so with you on your shares, but burning down the house. There's another song. Chicka chicka chicka. I am such a dork sometimes, but Timothy, I totally feel you. Mwah, Lynn. So this is like my life, like this last year or even these last few years have just been like walking a tightrope of my own perceptual existence. And each time nearly like wobbling over and being like, fuck. Like now it's like I need support. I want to step onto solid ground, not be living on a tightrope and be supported living on solid ground, you know, like instead of, yeah, just this edginess walking. But I totally agree with you as far as when we do this to ourselves, it's about ego. It really is shedding the false sense of self, the shedding of the power plays and the distortions and like the weird things that we can't see until we see them, right? We can't see them until we're on the other side of the lesson of the towers coming down. It's like, God damn it. We do have the power within us to be okay about towers coming down. Let the house of cards fall. Hells to the Yizak Christian. You know it, my friend. This is something, yes, we're going to see continuous still in the 3D with others that we choose to let in. Yeah, for sure. We choose to let them in also to continue this learning on teetering certain edges. Like there's these really contrasting leaps that I can see within self in the dissension, as it were, is coming back down to earth in some ways, and then at the same time an elevated awareness and an owning of that elevated awareness, a knowing of it's real. And there's more people opening up to that. And then the biofeedback is like, holy fuck, though, it's not our job to control this awakening. It's not our job to control this. So we might as well get set in our truth, right? We might as well really be on a day-to-day level just doing whatever the F we want to claim our freedom. And yeah, that journey, as it were, is really, really wild. Really quite radical in the way that we were programmed to think and perceive. And it is that's what we sell out to from on a soul level. All these soul contracts or what have you are having to do with like basically selling aspects of self to be born into the illusion of separation. That's part of like the experiment, as it were, or like our own delusion of construction of reality to come back home. I sort of think that like that's the reward of life, is just the reward is coming back home and being like, oh my God, I made it. I feel better now. I'm human and it's okay. Like, and it's like, because that's part of this weird breakthrough even this week where I'm just like, I'm allowed to do whatever the F I want. So I'm going to. And I'm kind of amazed at how everything's fallen into place and worked out. Although it's taken some depth for sure, but come on, it's been like Scorpio season and all these planets transiting through the deepest signs and like us finally looking at all of our wounds. And I honestly don't, and nor am I trying to escape that route. I think that's part of the empath community. Is like we're not trying to sidestep, we just want the freedom piece, and the freedom is something we feel in our beingness. And so it's relatively obvious the other. Hello, Violet Melon. Do you know what's really cool, my lovers? Is that some of y'all cheekies, I see you when Adrian is live. Because I'm a big fan of Adrian Elise. I do feel like she's holding space for our collective of like new paradigm vabuators, new paradigm vabuators. And just things she said that I'm like, yeah, that's totally aligned. Like more of us sort of landing and being made manifest in the world, and like people actually giving out us, and visionaries and brands offering tools and things that people can do to actually very in an organized way break free and rise up. I'm well chuffed at this point. It's been fucking intense, right? So yes, and Violet Melon. The reason I say this is because like I'll see who else? I want to say Jay Zen Atkinson and maybe a couple other, but I feel like you're there sometimes as well. Like children to run to a father. Yeah, no, yeah, I know. Like remember, or mother, remember just like the freedom of our innocence. Like the majority of people are well-meaning. It's just the veils. It's the constructed reality and then the entanglement of our own consciousness into the 3D as true. So it's like the way I'm seeing it is like the aspects of self that are entangled in any aspect of external reality that is entangled in such a way that feeds the truth of that externalized aspect versus the truth of the inner. As in, we don't claim our. That's what resistance is, as far as like just let go of the feeding of that being a true thing. Instead, we're like come within, and that's so many of us have been on this emotional journey of choosing what we want to feel and see versus what's already created. And then the emotional thing is basically the disentangling of all of those aspects that were once entangled. Thanks. So tower moments, like we've already discussed. This might be happening for some of us. This might just be the way that it's been. Tower moments, definitely shedding, and you could call it the burning of sheaths. In yoga, it's called that, like the burning of our layers, or is it called like samaskar or something like that as well in Sanskrit? So it's like there's like a word for like the false constructed layers of self. So the tower moments are essentially helping us to burn through the false ego. And by that, I just mean the false ego that plays the part of superiority or inferiority, savior or victim, parts and roles, rather than just being the example and being the desired truth that you are in any given moment, which is really rather profound, right? Because it just means that we can accept ourselves in the shittiest of the shits, but also in the highest of the beauty of life, right? So yeah, I have that omega in Sanskrit on my left hand. Holla, get your freak on, Kara. Ooh, yeah, that's connection, isn't it? I feel there's a lot of that within the females here. Samsara. Thank you, Violet Melon. So it's like burning. So the emotional storm process is like an aspect of burning through the samsara, burning through our karma, burning through our densities. That's emotional storm is like the alchemy that burns through them. It's just, again, collectively, there's a lot of interwoven shame and fear around even having the emotion in the first place. So meditation mindfulness is really good for allowing these alchemical transformational processes to take place. Especially working with clients in the UK, I'm like, whoa, people like I've seen clients just swallow back, like, I'm like, right there. What did you just swallow? What emotion wanted to come up to be released that you weren't, with it? And they're like, I don't know. You're like, well, you're either going to own up to a feeling being there or not. And it's as soon as okay, and then all the feels come out. But again, it warrants that's part of our having breath. Yeah, having breath to breathe through. And I would say we don't often use the breath enough. Because the breath helps also clear the emotional storms, definitely. That's part of the discipline as well, Timothy, I'd say, is like once these emotional storms are moving through us, we can breathe through some of the deep in it's I'm saying these words going, nothing's going to take the pain away other than processing the pain. You can breathe through it, you can chant through it, you can move through it, but if there's pain, there's pain, and it's got to be felt with, it's got to be processed, and it's got to be looked at from a perspective of love and compassion and forgiveness, ultimately, to really be able to heal and move forward in our integrity. And that's something we can check in with every day. If there's resentment that comes up or shitty emotions that come up, wait, where is this coming from, and what is this projecting out? It's like my total honesty around still having waves of resentment sometimes, and still I'm going, okay, so how can I noodle with that? How can I sort of, I'm seeing like throwing a rose through a big fog mist, throw something beautiful through that fog of resentment or what have you, and come back to self and the totality of my own dreams made manifest in truth and in service, because that's like most of us resonate with being of service. But what does that look like? It looks like freedom and walking a path of freedom, leading by example for the totality of the humanity. Because hey, for the most part, if we're still watching TV, we're still a slave. That's not true, but it's a generalized sweeping statement around the state of affairs in our reality. If we're still watching TV and buying into that program as like some true thing, and or denying its effect on us, then we're still totally enslaved by the construct. Blah blah blah. Oh, thank you. I'm like suddenly like, what am I blabbing on about now? True. Thank you. As in, okay, I appreciate that reflection, because I'm not even sure what I just said. So let's get back onto this reading, shall we? So we all are, for the most part, in agreement that it's been non-stop shatterings of egoic illusion. So the tower moments have come down almost in a continuous sense. And then what the... between that and worry. Yeah, ooh, interesting. That, the TV and the worry. The worry is a huge one. And I gotta say, that's of boon to 3 years. Yeah, Scott. That and worry. That's another one, worth a noodle, worth a live share, I'd say, around worry, and how we're all entangled in social circles and dynamics, and then people say, well, I'm worried about them. I'm like, what's worry? Worry is an underlying vibrashe of, one, distraction, and two, disempowerment. Because we don't have faith in people, which ultimately means we're not having faith in ourselves, but we deflect that and go, oh, but I'm worried about them. What are you worried about? And then that's where people just literally would look another way, because it starts to pull on a feel thread that they're like, I don't really want to go there because it hurts. Because usually if we're worried about something else, we're technically covering up a wound in self. And not wanting to go there. Fortunately for me, when I spend so much time on my own, I'm like, I don't avoid any of it, really. And I just get guided. I think that's the difference of being someone who's been guided for so long, is that I just get guided to new places, and I've perpetually, and it might sound a bit cold and harsh, but I've through cycles in my life, and I've had many, even as a younger person, through cycles in my life, I've just had to walk away from people, places, and things. And I get it from a historical point of view of the kind of family that I born myself into, and having a pretty detached perspective, and increasingly so, around it's life is my own, so I was gonna live it. And if people don't like it, at the end of the day, that's why I wrote a book about it. I'm like, you are responsible for your happiness, not me. But if you want a little piece of MJ, join her on the YouTube channel. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh my God, you guys. And so I'm still reading for us, by the way. The tower moment is actually about a rebalance. The tower moment in this reading is about rebalancing. So there's another possibly profound, maybe not that deep, but egoic illusion death around giving and receiving. So it, plus it causes words. What does? I don't say blah, blah, blah. I do, just to lighten the load a little bit. Sometimes I get into these really deep conversations. That's why I say vibrashe and intuition as well. Because really the things that we're talking about here are extraordinarily profound and deep. And I don't mean to, make light of somebody if they're in the shits. And or I wouldn't want somebody in the depth of their own healing to think that I'm mocking them or making fun. But at the same time, I don't want to take any of it too seriously, because that just weighs me down. And that just feels egoic to me. It feels bullshitty to me when people are like, it's so serious. I'm like, everything, like life is so serious. Can we not at least try to laugh about the absurdity of life on Earth? And like, what is any of this? I'm like, we're all just spewing information at each other and like riding this cosmic wave of existence. Be like, what the fuck? The whole world that we were taught about is actually like crumbling in front of our eyes as people continue to drop bombs on each other, and not all of us are powerless to it. Being like, what the fuck is happening? I'm like, I know, just believe in your star power and create your own reality. Okay, sure, I'll just do that. Oh, there's a whole bunch of shit that you're gonna have to face in the meantime, because most of us have been living in denial for centuries, for millennia. We've been living in denial of our power, so we have to like, fuck shit, get the power back, So there. Take your power back. And face down every fear. That's kind of what this whole year has been, just like perpetual facing of fear around rejection, abandonment, complete and utter failure, total no worthiness and nothingness, but then at the same time like feeling more on purpose and like following this feel good flow. In the meantime, space hug, sure. Like, if it was easy, I'm with you. Worry creates that. That makes sense. I'm trying to think of, most of my high school, plus the dancing. But I also hated myself deeply and believed in my own disgustingness. So I think warts are also representative of deep self-loathing. What about twin flames? Ooh, Cara, I don't go down that route. I got to say, I don't subscribe to the twin flame storyline, by the way. Because in my reality, like every human that comes in and out of my 3D physical reality is like a reflector, a mirror, a twin, a flame, looking like discerning. And then as for, long-term relation, it's just more about finding the self in truth and then being open to receive like compatibility. Yeah, I just don't buy in. I actually, we are the twins, male and female. Yeah, I look at it as a much either broader general construct, but what I see, this is purely my perspective, so they don't take it if it doesn't resonate. But like, I actually see a lot of distortion in the twin flame community because it loops people back into disempowered seeking. Is this my twin? Is that my twin? Is that exactly longing? And I'm like, and I know it. And I've only in these like recent months really integrated that of like, stop fucking. There isn't this moment where someone's gonna come in and like, then happily ever after. Now that I found my twin, I am my wholeness, as you and all are the wholenesses of existence reflecting back to me. Me seeking a twin is no different than seeking a man to make my life fulfilled, and or a woman. My twin, my perfect female is going to come along. No, you're perfect already. And we actually can achieve the wholeness without hooking into one another. And that's, recent energies of like having those experiences of people hooking in and some hole that I allowed, because that wouldn't come in unless it was allowed in, and then the healing occurs, which is great, and then more veils get lifted, as in the hook comes from a disempowered aspect. We don't feel the need to hook into someone if we're truly in our power. We don't feel the need to lie to somebody if we're truly in our power. And yet we do, because we're seeking. We're seeking validation or seeking something. I have a celestial body attachment. How does that work? Is that like your aspects? I'm like, because that's making me think of like the light beings that I have. And also it's like a floating, and when I see it, first I thought it was haunted. Oh, you do see it. I sense them. And it's not just one celestial body, it's a good few. Oh, interesting. Yeah, and I would say this is all part of our, so we acknowledge the fullness. That's about right. And like the 14th gate, the 13th gate into the next. So and that's our celestial bodies, I would say, are just aspects of our soul that are here with us. People call them angel guides or spirit guides or Holy Spirit, and that can make itself manifest in various celestial ways. You know, like we interesting. Yes, exactly. And right, Lynn, this is like a perfect interject, because it's like, whether we call it spiritual or not, it's codependency, right? This is what I find fascinating about navigating this channel and this spiritual awakening with you guys. Call it what we will. As a human being, I had a rather profound, fundamental paradigm shift, a perspective shift in my awareness. Now you can call it a spiritual awakening, or you can call it perspective shift. And then I've been noodling and perceiving the reality via that perspective shift all this time. And then here I am sharing the journey with you as far as living in one's heart and being a human. I never figured it would be so gosh darn difficult. But then the binary aspect of the human healing its heart is the fact that we lived in denial of our power and been living under this veil of a 3D construct of separation. So, yeah. You know, I sometimes think of just taking the word spiritual out of the equation. How does it feel? How are you feeling as a human? Because we blind ourselves by, and this is what I've seen in my awareness and my world acting out. People think they're spiritual because, oh, I'm spiritual because I'm veggie. I'm spiritual because I'm this. I'm spiritual because I do yoga. I'm spiritual because I'm, and then in the next breath, denying the homeless person that lives on the end of their street, or laughing at the girl who looks a little bit different in tights at yoga. You know what I mean? So there's that duplicitousness that still acts itself out because we've given ourselves yet another way to deny the truth of our being. And I kind of see there is some relevant information for any of us. See, twin flame to me is just another rabbit hole in our spiritual sharing of information, in our sharing of this co-creative experience. It's another rabbit hole that can potentially distract us into, basically it's like another veil of the Walt Disney program, finding my twin, finding my happily ever after. You know, we do live and die as one regardless, and being totally awesome and okay with who you are without seeking from other, I would say, is the point of union within self. And then ultimately, I think when we meet the right people, like soul tribe, like meeting the right people online. It's just it's the same, it just looks different. Meeting the right people online, meeting soul tribe and soul familia online is like the Neo, you know, creating your reality and then allowing it to make manifest. My collective people around me are increasingly more balanced, aware, open, as well as the online community with unconditional reasoning of love, for sure. Yes, that's all as it is. I don't feel the need to like judge people. I just know my own field of resonance. So when people start talking about it, immediately I'm like, okay. And then I just perceive. In my field, I perceive through love. I perceive through divinity. I see people in their highest self. I see people in in their power, in their unity. But if they're trying to find their power through me by proclaiming to be a twin flame, that doesn't feel real to me. That feels like a distortion. That feels like a hook. That feels like an entanglement. Feels like a codependency. You know, whereas two whole beings or a tribe of whole beings, that's a very powerful co-creative, you know, vision. This conversation bridges us into, the alignment of healing, and then the alignment of the deservingness of the wholeness. And that also integrates our sexuality as beings and our ability to not be used and abused, sexually speaking, and thus to not do it to other. If we're still seeking, there's usually an abuse and like covert entanglement going on, just again from my experience and perspective. When, yeah. And then we don't even realize in our innocence the ways that we seek validation. Like I've usually kind of been able to pull those in via some desperate financial need or some other part of me kind of wanting someone's approval, like somebody who's older or somebody who seems really cool to me. Like I unconsciously am kind of seeking their approval and validation. Like, oh yeah, you're cool, MJ, or like da 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 da. But then if there's that unconscious thing going in me, then usually it will turn ugly. So usually it will come out that there's other feelings going on, and there's, you know, and then again, in my process, I always give myself permission to disentangle, to just walk away, because there's too much distortion to try to talk it out. And that's often the program, as it were, is like, we have to talk about this. No, we don't. Everything is essentially transparent and infinite in the void. And so we as the beingness can resolve distortion via forgiveness, compassion, love, and then be free. And that freedom that we pioneer from within the self ultimately lets every other person off the hook. People that did us wrong or people that did us good, it's all the same in essence. We're just navigating the contrast. And so every being has the power to navigate the contrast in their divine will. But we can't do it hooked into one another via our unconscious wounding. It just doesn't work. But we can be thankful for one another for triggering it out of us. Absolutely. And like owning the trigger. Courtship before love is determined on a balance. I'm feeling that. Left brain meets the right and violet. Angels sing, holla, holla, holla. Sings at the beginning, heart attack when they pop out. Interesting. I would noodle on that a little bit more, and very much in alignment here, Timothy. It's about Robertson, but we know we were starting a new keel, definitely. And so I'm with you around like the courtship stuff as well. Is that I'm like, yeah. Well, my mind is just now kind of like around like all of the gates that we kind of pass through, like childhood trauma, and then getting indoctrinated at school, and then going through puberty, and then being sexualized quite suddenly, and that's suddenly like an important thing, but we don't learn, we don't integrate, we don't connect it to the sacred, and so we start the abuse patterns really quite young, in as far as our belief that we have to entangle ourselves, we have to find survival, comfort, security in other, which is, there's truth in that for sure. It's just that we have to be whole in the self. We have to be I have to know that I'm safe and secure and whole in myself, right? Like in the beingness that I am. And I'm hitting up against that next level now, going through, some hell stuff, but then looking at that, like, can I just effing trust? Holy Shazam, after everything that's happened, could I just trust? Trust the body, trust the mind, trust the life force. Can you just trust that the universe knows you better than you know yourself, you know? And that it's all manifesting in divine timing, and you worrying or you thinking you're seeking or you're blah 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 ain't gonna get you nowhere fast. That's the card. God bless them all of us. Well, thank you, Sheik, for bringing me back. So you walking away from the battle is ultimately coming out of another layer of deception. I'm right back in the cards after the star and the sun are shining brightly together. This is possibly quite mega, you guys. So this is now, what's today? November 27th. So we're right at the end of November, headed to December. This 2020 astrology is really anchoring in. I know for some of us, we're not necessarily seeing manifestations, but the foundations have firmly been laid. And there is, just by the cards, there is like a love offer coming in here, or speak for me, you guys. Sing for me, my angels. The Knight of Cups, which would be a water sign for some of you, a younger water sign, and or I'm getting a sense of a water sign who's just starting out on their like path, as it were. So I'm digging on that, Timothy. And the one thing I'm getting with what you just said, I'm not looking back through old eyes, is also the fact that we don't need to look back. It's always here now. So people think you have to regress or go back to past lives. No, it appears now in emotional storms to be healed. We don't need to look back and redo things necessarily. We just have to we just have to practice being present and focusing on the feelings and the healings and the thought processes in the here now. And or not, you know, meditate, relax, chill, do what you want. Honestly, you're totally free. So there's love coming in, my lovers. Love is coming in, and this is connected on some level to your happily ever after and establishing the new foundation. So and I would say with this Four of Wands, it's like the foundations have already been laid. Now you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Not what you knew. Got you. So I mean, I just need to really focus on this sort of T shape, and on this T shape right here. It's like Wheel of Fortune is really moving in your flavor, and yeah, Wheel of Fortune is really turning around for you because the sun and the star, I somehow feel like this is so huge. It's going to blow your mind. And that sun star card connection, it's like manifesting your dreams. After some tower moments came down to restructure your sense of worth, probably to integrate to receive better balance, hence the Wheel of Fortune. So starting to turn a new leaf around the attraction points and ultimately your ability to receive. And then that awareness and light is really helping you see through any illusions that remain around the thought that create conflict. That's how I'm interpreting this Five of Swords with the moon. It's because the swords are the mental aspect, so it really is about the mental aspects that veil you and keep you in conflict. Whether it's conflict with self or conflict with other, it doesn't really matter. You're seeing through the veil. You're seeing now those thought forms really clearly. Basically, just say you're seeing the thoughts that limit you, and with the sun and the star and the Wheel of Fortune starting to really shine on that, it's like you're finally laying those thoughts to rest. You're finally overcoming those thoughts into this new foundation, which I feel like you've actually been, you know, you could say you've actually been creating these pillars and then, you know, putting them in the ground and maybe sometimes working with other people, sometimes working alone, but now they're set. Pardon me, you've created the foundation. What up, Karen? I mean, Kat. I'm just looking at Kat and Aaron together. Karen. Kat, Aaron, what up? So yeah, you've been working on this probably for 4 years or quite a while. And now it's like, what are you going to do with these pillars? Well, or more to the case, the foundation. 2020 is a 4, right? So if we've got some solid foundations going in life and in business and in our desired outpouring, then really all you got to do is let it in. Is this love offer that wants to come in. You're a star, and you're not just a star, but you're a star like fully in his and her power. You can take the time and rest. You can go horseback riding. You can go enjoy the sunshine. You can enjoy the nighttime. You basically can see the veil, and you can see both sides of it. And the Wheel of Fortune is now rising your time to receive. You're coming into that time to receive ultimately your star power, and whatever that looks like is totally perfect because it's got a solid foundation here. You've got a really solid foundation. So any love coming in, it's upstanding, it's in the upright. This is real. Somebody who wants to offer you like real love. Somebody asked me what the book is cost. The book usually sells for about 15, maybe 14 pounds. So I think that's maybe roughly about $17 on Amazon. I also have the audio version and Kindle. I think the audio and Kindle are actually cheaper as well. Or you can send me like £100 and I will sign it and send it to you personally. Oh, what? I wasn't expecting that, but I'm so thankful. Holy Shazam! Holy Shazam! That floats my boat quite nicely. That does, Cara. So Cara, my lovely, if you want, you can send me a little email. And I found you for a reason. Jessica, good night, my lover. Jess, I'm really glad that we connected here so that I could let you know that I still hold you in my Snapchat heart. I might go back on it, but I'm feeling quite liberated and like adult. I feel like an adult now because I'm not like perpetually on all these different social medias taking selfies. I'm like so bored of that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, legit. Like I have no bad vibes to the selfie culture or the millennials or the people who are on social media all the time. Power to you. Like I loved it, genuinely loved it for quite a while. I just have had a recent shift where I'm like, I really am honoring like my own simplicity. I'm like really just barefoot on the grass, go for swims, saunas, and love myself and look after it, but like chill a lot. And not take selfies because it feels weird. I don't know why. Unless it's from a lover. I don't oh my god. Okay, so that's that. And was it Kat or Patricia or Lynn? One of you asked about my cards. So the Rider-Waite, this is what I used. Don't swim the channel, it's gotta be cold. It is gonna be freezing and kind of maybe a little bit gross as well, like a bit dirty. I don't know, I feel like some sort of parasitic illness coming on just thinking about swimming in that water. All poetry, my lover. Cara, I can feel the like energy for sure. It's aligned. Not that does anything for you, and I don't have the boxes, but this primary deck that I use is the Rider-Waite, which is like the pretty, I guess, classical, typical tarot. And then I have a couple that some of you guys sent to me. One of them is like quite scary. It's like a horror deck, which is cool. I literally find it frightening, so I don't use that one. But I love it because it's a gift from viewers, which is pretty badarse. And then badarse. And then The other gifted deck from one of you guys is like vice versa, which I'll learn because the images are pretty cool. It's quite video game-esque to me. Thanks, Chic. Your love too. And then this one, this is like my personal, so the Rider-Waite I found in my mom's storage about a year or so ago. And then with the book, the Learner's Manual. And then this Osho deck has been in my possession since maybe 2012. Little did I know, 2012 was the time I remember I actually had a reading, a tarot reading by a local mystic. And basically she predicted everything. And then that inspired me. I don't know if you guys know as well, but this Osho deck is quite pricey. I'm pretty sure I spent like 70 quid. Or certainly more, or maybe it was like 25 or something. But like this deck is like, it comes with a book. I think there's 76 or 78 cards in this deck. And I don't know if you know Osho, but he's like a author and, well, more a spiritual teacher. And all of his books are quite badass, quite cool. And I read a lot of Osho over the years. So yeah, I totally res with the dude. I don't think he's like in body anymore. I don't think he's like in a physical body. I think he left. So the Osho deck. So my readings, I'll take it. I'll paint you. Hello, get your freak on. Get your freak on. I just spew Shaz when I'm funny. This is when my like dork vibrashe comes out, and I'm just like, stop talking. Don't let them see how much of a dork you are. But it's okay. It's okay because I love you guys. And ultimately, here's the thing. The reason I do it is like because I love the self as well. And I've pretty shameless, except for when shames come up and ugh, it's uncomfortable. Anywho, so Rider-Waite, my main usage of cards when I do readings is the Rider-Waite, usually for the primary story. And then the Osho deck I use for like the divine guidance and additional love and clarity. So any of you who have booked private readings will know, like I don't always, so sometimes I don't get to the Osho cards. I just don't. The reading is what the reading is, and I don't feel called because it's pure intuition, right? So the intuition just guides the expression, the message that needs to be given to people on here and also when you book privately. So I am called to pull some Osho cards, so that we are moving forward. This basically in pure power, pure potentiality as the star. You owning and claiming the star power as your own and letting the sun shine upon things going better in your favor, new love, new foundation after having significant tower moments that have basically washed you clean of any ego bullshit and that would limit you or limit other imbalanced relationships. So now that's all going. You're seeing through the veil. You're seeing the limited thought form that kept you in conflict, that kept you in this sort of resistance mode within the self. So now you're the sun and the star helping you see through the veil of that thought perception that kept you in conflict. And you're finally really stepping into building because the foundation has been laid. As you're building your empire, you could say, or building your reality or creating your reality, there's this Knight of Cups. So there's a water sign potentially that wants to come in. They're also at the start of the gate. They're also at the start of potentially a new beginning. This schizophrenia card really wants to come out, so I'm going to take it. So this is like, I would say for whoever it's resonating with, or maybe all of us, the schizophrenia card has to do with kind of letting... Let's make our own deck. Yes, Lynn, please do. If any of all y'all are drawers, I would love that. An Ultra Love TV deck. Booyakasha. This card wants to come up. It did come up in the reverse, although I don't often read. I just don't read Osho in the reverse. I shan't take it. Actually, I'm going to take the schizophrenia card as a little bit of a general energy that there's a sense of balancing ourselves in between two worlds. So normally this would possibly be like a negative card. I'm spinning it into just allow allowing ourselves to be where we are, okay? So it's okay that we're a little bit suspended here. A little bit suspended between the old world and the new world. We know where we want to go. We're quite contented here, but over there the birds are flying in that direction. We're gonna, and look, I got it wrong. They're flying in the opposite direction or over the red. But either way, we know where we want to go with this. We're not going to let ourselves fall, okay? That's the trust card. So basically just trust that you're in this bridge phase, i.e. look, like this human is actually even creating a bridge effect in these two pillars that are pulling themselves apart, which is pretty relevant of the world stage right now in the constructed reality. They're not holding together anymore, you know? And so you can't have both. You can't stay in one world and jump to another. At some point you are going to have to jump. So jump and trust. And I know actually a lot of you have already done it. I know you've already jumped, and that's why this card is here. It's so build it. Start building your new world. Live in the new world from that place of connected harmony. This card is relevant to quite a few people who resonate here. It's to do with a lot of the kind of inner pressure and also like the hardness. So because the dolphins represent like play, fun, joy, and then it's like in your heart connected to harmony. So this is like a pure innocent child just playing with her or his imagination, and then allowing that essence to make manifest in your world. Play more, love more, you know, that's all part of it. What up, Aisha? Hey girl, welcome. Or I think it was a chica. No, this is just live tarot. I generally just do a general reading, and then sometimes I'll like pull cards for people. But look, chica, it's like it's coming up to well over an hour now, so I'm gonna close her down. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you big time. You know that I love you. You can do the readings with no cards. You know it, Lynn. You know it, Lynn. It's pure intuition right here on Ultra Love TV. Intuitive introvert perspective, just sharing insights and inspiration with my lovers. And the tarot has sort of, but you guys can hear it, right? I've had tarot in my reality, and my mom also. I just never saw myself like pretended as a reader. But the nice thing about the tarot is that it really helps to curb my people pleasing, because I obviously want it all to be sunshine and rainbows all the time, but that's just not effing life. Life has contrast, so we have to face the contrast as well to be able to overcome it. So my loves, I love you. Thank you for all your likes and just for showing up, because it makes it so mega fun when you're all here. And I, yes, have so much mega love for you. I'm sure that any rockets that we shoot out for the channel and the community will happen. As in, at some point, I'm sure we will create an Ultra Love TV tarot deck. And is it Anna? Were you there, Anna? And you know, we have little workings in the pipelines for Ultra Love jewelry and fun things like that. So I am certain that all of it shall come to pass. For some reason I'm getting like Lord Solomon. Oh no, it's this. It's love. It's love, hot vibrashe. It's so true, right? I do get that, the divine wisdom. It's ultimately the Christ within us all. That's the source within us all. It loves all, sees all in the divine. So just keep up the good work, my lovers. I love you so much. Have a great day. Buy stuff. Buy the book. Go to Ultra Love, the website, and buy readings and coaching sessions, because it's all part of the magnificent unfolding for Ultra Love as a movement for humanity to love self. That's all there truly is. Love self, and then you express that love to other. Simple, 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 simple. Why is it not simple? Because this is the age of information transformation, so the information wells are absolutely infinite. That's part of the Spirituality Simplified. Am I still talking? Yes, you are. Spirituality Simplified course, I would say, helps to sidestep a lot of the rabbit holes of so-called spirituality. Remember, it's not spirituality, it's just people talking. It's just MJ talking. She just happened to be quite a connected human, because I would die if I tried the other, as in being disconnected and just following the rules. Especially when the rules are shit. And like the rules hurt other people on the planet. I'm like, no, I don't want to follow your mean rules. Anyway, I'm still talking, but I'm going to stop talking. I really appreciate you guys. Have a great day. I love you loads. Or a great night. I know some of you guys, it's nighttime over there, so sleep well, my lovers. Love you guys, and I'll speak to you real soon. Peace.